Hello, my name is Té. I read the book Ethnography, Principles in Practice by Martin Amersley and Paul Atkinson. You already know what is ethnography, you already know how to do some thinking about problems, you should think about problems, you know that you need to ask access and find people to give you access. And now we are in the fourth chapter and we are going to talk about field relations. This chapter starts by talking about presentations. So when we arrive, we have an image, we have a body, and everything is conditioned by that. So in my case, I'm a woman, I'm a very short woman, so I look sometimes younger than I truly am. And when I talk to people doing my research, I sometimes get talking in a conditioned way. People talk to me like they are teaching me something, and that's sometimes kind of because as a feminist I don't really like to have, especially men older than me, always talk like I know nothing about anything. But it has its advantage as a researcher. So if someone talks to me like they feel they can teach everything to me, I will have a lot of more details than the researcher they think that is very smart and very competent, very male. They won't speak to them and explain things with the detail they are explaining to me. That's not all about gender expression, but we have the same things about racial issues, because in some contexts the race you are perceived to be influence the information people gives you. And the example they give was like, my cat bite me again. I'm a victim of feline violence. I don't get her. I really don't get her. I was like being so nice to her. Why she's biting me? I give her food. Then again, so race, we are talking about race. I hate talk about race because I'm a white girl, so I know nothing about race. But what the book says is that if you want to interview a far-right group, you need to be white, for example. There is a context where the race counts. If you are going to interview rappers, it's easy to be black. It's the point of the book. The book also talks about presentation to different type of informants. Let's picture this. You are going to talk to students and you are going to talk to teachers. The look that teachers will respect are very different than the look kids will respect. So kids might trust you more if you look a little bit more like them, and adults will trust you more if you look more conservative. It's the point the book made, once again. Let's move on. The researcher usually takes up one of three types of roles, like the acceptable incompetent is the one defined by Loveland in 1971, which is the researcher is like a new person in a new job. He doesn't know anything, he asks a lot of questions, it looks like he needs to learn very, 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 very fast all of the things because he knows nothing. So this is one of the types. The second type is the full participant. So the researcher already knows everything about the field. He's one of the guys. The other people in the field look at the researcher like one of them, usually is the one used in undercover, because yes, if you are undercover you need to look like the ones you are researching. And then the full observant. The researcher don't do what people is investigation do, is only looking. It's kind of voyeur. It's usually used in research with children. They think that interact will be disturbing and will change the way kids act. Usually the researcher is behind a glass, like in those noir movies, and it's not really my approach. I'm somewhere between the acceptable incompetent, the first category, with some spices of participant. Yeah, this is why I think it's cool, just pointing out the possibilities here. Finally, this chapter talks about the syndrome of inadaptation, defined by Winthrop in 1969. I didn't read that book, so I'm quoting the authors on that. I'm trusting their read. What is that? It's the way you feel like unable to do anything, like you think you are out of place when you are in the field, and you are scared and you are frustrated, and sometimes you are angry of people because they are not giving you the answers you need. So sometimes it happens when you are doing an interview and people only replies to yes, no, I don't know, and then you get a little bit frustrated. Is normal. Syndrome of inadaptation is when you are scared of going to the field, like you think that people are not going to be nice to you. Sometimes you get in the field and you are asking information, doing interviews, and you are not getting any answers. Like people are rescheduling every single time, and you are losing like a month or two trying to get one interview and you are getting none. Or when the places are always closed for you, you want to go to a specific archive. That happened to me. I went to go to an archive and the archive was always closed, and I sit in the front of the door of the archive and I wait for hours and no one comes, day after day. It was very frustration. I called my advisor. I was very sad that day. It's a sentiment of frustration, anger, loneliness, inadaptation, because you know you should do better, but you are not able to. You think that you should be a better researcher, you should have in better answers, but then you feel that you don't. You feel that you can't be natural around the persons you are talking to. You feel that you are a fraud. You feel like you are not telling the whole truth all the time. You are always in persona, like trying to look in a certain way, trying to be a certain person. In my case, for example, I study music and I played piano, but I think that I don't play very well. So when people ask me if I'm a musician, I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm not a truly musician. And that kind of feeling is very common in ethnography. A lot of researchers feel that they are not truly the participants they wish they were.